have a bang. All them as and calls now, which I bag it up. I start my card with a sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a bag it up. So, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
What is going on, people? Welcome back to the Stay Weighed In Shot. I'm joined by my man Ray. 2 weeks out, how have you been, man?
Tired, very tired, but we move. What about yourself?
I'm good, man. I can't really complain. Outside of the football with Chelsea, everything else is blessed.
Listen, man, you just gotta give up on them, man. It's over. I don't even.
We give up on the season, but we never give up on the team. But we're here.
You definitely have to give up on that team. But we're not here for that. That's another conversation.
That is another conversation. But we're here today to preview Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua. But before we do that, just a quick shout out to our sponsor, D-Rock Clothing. As always, guys, if you can do support the channel, go onto the D-Rock's website, type in the promo code iBoxingHub24, get yourself 40% off the entire site. Help us, help you, all that good stuff. But with that being said, Ray, we're here to talk about arguably the biggest crossover fight we'll see this year. Francis Ngannou, Anthony Joshua. Now, this fight's happening for two reasons. One, because of how good Francis Ngannou looked against Tyson Fury, but also because of the result of Joseph Parker versus Deontay Wilder going the way that we didn't expect it to go. First question I'm asking you is, are you excited for the fight?
No, because I like both these people, and it's gonna hurt me to see that. Damn, one of them's really gonna have to get hurt. So there's no winner in this for me, basically. However, I'm most happier for Francis Ngannou because just even after the life he's lived and the limitation that they tried to put in him once he became UFC champion and he left and he betting himself, he's now going on to bigger and better things. And even in a loss, he's got victory. So I'm happy for him. But yeah, seeing two of my favorites go at it, I'm not too happy about it, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Do you know what? Let's stay on Francis then, because we know Francis from the MMA world, knockout power that he's got. And he kind of translates that over to the fight against Fury, because he did knock him down. And a lot of people have said, he connects, it can be lights out for AJ. So I'm going to ask you this. Do you think he's going to be able to connect now that AJ and his team have footage on Francis Ngannou?
I would hope not, because I think a lot of it was the fact that, like in the fight with Fury, I think, what did they say? Styles make fights. And I feel like Fury's style was more tailored for Ngannou in regards to like how he moves. And then in addition to him not being in the greatest shape, and the fact that the element of surprise was there. Because I think for a lot of people, they just saw it as, oh, Ngannou done MMA before, he's coming into this fresh face. But they don't realize that he actually started off in boxing. And then I think something along the lines of the politics of boxing is what made him go into MMA, or his coach basically said at the time, easier entry to get into MMA than it is to boxing. But I think that's why people kind of underestimate like how long he's been working on his boxing and such. So the element of surprise isn't there no more. And I'm sure AJ probably watched that fight thinking, okay, let me take him seriously. And the fact that when they done the face-off, Ngannou's a big guy, and I think AJ probably looked at him like, rah, I wasn't expecting this guy to be this type of figure. So it'll be interesting to see.
Obviously, we'll touch with AJ a bit more in terms of training and what he's got to lose. But with Francis, you said obviously this is his second pro fight. Is there anything to really lose for him? Like, can he just go into this just expressing himself, just making it competitive? Because I think that's the one thing I look at. Like, he's got nothing to lose in a loss, but he's got something to lose if he can't back up what he did against Fury and not make it as competitive for me.
I don't think so. Only because it's like you're literally facing two of the best heavyweights of this generation. You're not going in there and facing like top 10 guys or peripheral top 15 guys. It's like literally 2 out of 3 of the best at the moment. So there's nothing to lose. Like, there's no shame in it. Obviously, I don't want him to get an embarrassing knockout, but I would like for him to put a good account of himself. Just put a good account of himself. The first fight he could have won against Fury. This fight, I would like a shutout from Anthony Joshua, but like I said, I still want a spirited defeat for Ngannou because I know he's going into MMA next. So I want it just so that by the time he goes, he's going to do his MMA bout, and then if he wants to go into the boxing bout, I want it to be a good performance, so people will be like, do you know what? I'll tune in to watch Francis again.
I think that's what I meant. Like, I don't want it to be a case of where he goes into it and it's not necessarily lights out, but even if it's over 12 rounds, it's a case of there wasn't anything, not 12 rounds, 10 rounds. There wasn't anything from Ngannou for us to be like, oh, wait, maybe we can take him seriously type of thing. I think I want him to go out, like I said, in a spirited loss. Like, I would be happy with that. But I don't want it to where it's like you become somewhat of a punching bag and AJ realizes it but can't really knock him out. But I don't expect that from Ngannou because that's not his character.
Yeah, for sure. And AJ's also got to be careful as well when he's gunslinging with Ngannou because he saw in a Fury fight that, listen, he knows he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. Like, I remember going into the Fury fight, I don't know if he was purposely bad on the pads or his style's just unorthodox, but a lot of people kept on thinking, right, look how he's punching. What's this guy going to do against someone like Fury? He's elusive. He's this, he's that. And then when some people saw the skills that Ngannou was showing, they were just like, wait, hold on, where did this come from? So, yeah, just don't get too comfortable with Ngannou is the thing.
I will say this. I think, again, this is not to take a shine away from Ngannou's first performance because I don't think anything can do that. But I do believe Fury went into that particular fight thinking, right, little exhibition, make a bit of money.
Of course.
I'm going to fight in December anyway.
Yeah.
His full concentration was on that. And you can see because obviously we always say Fury's a bit chubby, but I think the love handles were showing a bit too much in that particular fight compared to certain other fights. So I think he definitely took his eye off the ball. And we're seeing the ramification of that his stocks are down, even though he is undefeated, even though he is the world champion. His stocks at this moment, personally, for me, are down. But I want to touch on AJ because we're on what we call the AJ redemption tour, you could probably say.
Yeah.
He's not in the fight that he probably expected being because he probably expected it to be Deontay Wilder. But him fighting Francis Ngannou, for me, it ramps up the pressure significantly more than it was against Deontay Wilder. So my question to you is, is it too much of a risk for him to take in his redemption tour right now? And could he have been a bit more easier getting another fight in instead against the official pro guy?
Yes and no. Yes, it's a risk because when you're this close to getting your title shot again, any fight in between is a risk. And to be honest, it's like I'll have to lean more on the no because despite all the agendas that people try to say about AJ, how he somehow ducked Fury and Wilder, which just isn't true. But it's like he's always faced other top competition that's out there. That's what I think should never be missed on AJ is that he's always faced the top guy. So when people, and I always say when it comes to being in competition, it's hard to become champion. It's harder to stay champion. AJ's been there, done that. He came up against Usyk and then he lost his belt. But listen, never forget the fact that what this guy has done, he's used to top pressure. He's used to, going into high risk environments with everything to lose and very little to gain. So it was all good.
I was going to say for AJ then, what type of performance do we need for us to be like, okay, we get it. This is Anthony Joshua. This is Anthony Joshua of the past that we've seen because we've seen him get stoppages against Otto Wallin, Hellenius with the knockout as well. So there's things coming back of what we saw from the past. What do you think of AJ here? Can he stop Francis Ngannou?
I think, yeah, he definitely can. I think I don't even like when people say the old AJ. I think this is a new AJ. I think what he showed in the Otto Wallen fight was a new him, where it's like is a focused, more assertive person. Before, I think it was just aggressive. Now he's more assertive. He knows when to apply himself, but not in a way of just being like reckless abandonment of a youthful fighter, but a guy that's being able to refocus the energy into being more assertive, being more of a surgeon in per se. And I think that's the best destructive AJ we've got right now. All this old AJ, I always say, people will say the old AJ ain't been the same since the Vlad fight. I'm like, you can't go to wars like that and think someone's gonna be the same. You can't. It's gonna take its toll on you. And I guess there's a lot of people that either haven't boxed before, or they just don't understand the ramifications of having big fights like that, where rock'em sock'em, he knocks you down, then you knock him down, then he knocks you down, then you come and get this comeback victory in the 10th or 11th round. It takes its toll, and yeah, it's gonna change you. So him like finding out what type of fighter he is, Ben Davison has done wonders getting the right balance. I think with AJ, the issue's always been balance, whereas before he was like the young fighter that was reckless, but it paid off. Then he got older and had to be more careful because the Ruiz fight happened, and then he realized like, yo, this actually can get taken away. Ben Davison, I think after the Ruiz fight, it was like he was trying to find that balance of let me try be a fighter more than just a puncher. Then obviously that went against him against Usyk because he tried to outbox the boxer. I think Ben Davison has gotten to the point where we're going to get you balanced. You can have that boxer style, but then we still need the ferocity of a puncher and when to bring it out. And I think now he knows when to apply it.
I was going to say, you mentioned Ben Davison, and it's funny because he's an interesting name in, I would say, career rejuvenation. I'm not saying that AJ needs that. I'm just saying, like I said, this new phase that we're going into. Obviously, we saw what he did with Tyson Fury, and now what we're seeing with AJ. So my question is, how important is Ben going forward for AJ in terms of, like I said, winning a world title again, potentially fighting Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk one more time if that opportunity pops up? Is it crucial for him to stay with him throughout this journey, or do you think it's like, okay, there's a cut-off point for Ben Davison, and then it's like, right, we're bringing somebody else to take it to that next level?
It's techie because obviously Ben Davison has history of Fury, and then everyone's got the suspicion of like, will he
double agent?
Is he a double agent? Is he going to take the assignment properly? But then obviously we can't forget there's still Derek James in the background. I feel like as much as people are critical of when did he hook up with Derek James, it wasn't
It was around the time Spence and Crawford were going as well.
What's the guy that he faced last year? At the beginning of the year, he faced Franklin, yeah. And obviously people weren't too fond of it because they were just like, he was a bit too static still. But I think it was the balance that Derek James brought. He brought him back to fundamentals. And I think he was like trying to break down bad habits and install new ones. And there's going to be growing pains with that. But then I also think Ben Davison, what they've done is like a combination where Derek James had to restructure AJ's fundamentals. And I think also AJ liked that environment of going to America and being the nobody again. Well, not nobody because he's AJ, but
yeah,
you're the new guy. Yeah, you're like you're fresh meat in that gym. Like you're not going in there. You're not the big dog. Like you got up and coming heavyweights that are looking at you like, yo, that's the guy. And I think he likes being in that environment. So I think it's about the combination of. It's weird. I don't know if Derek James will be the guy to bring out what Ben Davison's brought out of him, but I also feel like if Fury ends up winning, he's gonna have to stick with Derek James, and then it's gonna be like, how exactly are you gonna apply? But listen, that's for AJ to. I think we can speculate, but that's for AJ to answer. But I think if we learned anything from the Wilder fight not happening, to the fact that Fury and Usyk should have happened now, and it hasn't. If we have learned anything, let's cross certain bridges when we get there.
Do you know what? This was my next point I was gonna say to you, but you kind of half answered it already. Obviously, Turkey, His Excellency, we know what he's doing. And look, I said it at the start. I thought it was going to be a bit of a novelty, but to his credit, he's put on fights. He's forced fighters to fight. Obviously, the money's there, so they will fight significantly. They'll be more open to fighting, but they probably wouldn't if that type of finance weren't there. I believe he did say, look, I want the winner here to challenge the winner out of Usyk and Fury. Now, look, he has pulling power financially, but realistically, based off what we expected with the guys dropping the belts, etc., mandatories and stuff like that, how realistic is that expectation going to happen for you?
It's happening, man.
You think
Listen, do you know why it's happening? Because His Excellency has the money to make sure everyone gets paid. Every belt will be on the line, and guess what? That means all of those boxing boards are gonna get money, and when they all get paid, they're all gonna say, "What mandatories?" It's a dirty game, but here we are. That's what's gonna happen. So the undisputed will happen. Then they're gonna lift like me and you have plotted. He's a big WWE fan because I saw the undisputed belt, and I said, I know a wrestling fan when I see one. I said, you can't fool me. I said, this guy's been doing King of the Ring tournaments. I said, listen, man.
Well, he's doing a Survivor Series-esque format.
He's doing a Survivor Series with Matchroom First, Queensbury. This guy is a wrestling fan. You can't convince me otherwise. This is basically King of the Ring. This undisputed belt is basically King of the Ring. So I think as long as he's involved, other mandatories and everyone else will be like, all right, cool, we'll chill for now. Obviously, you can't keep on skipping the mandatories, but I think it's for undisputed, it can overrule it. And because he's kind of stamped it, where it's like, before, a lot of these fights will take longer because you've got two networks. Like, well, I want this and I want that. And now His Excellency is basically out of money to say, listen, everyone's sharp, you're all getting paid. So that's why everyone's getting along. They're not friends. Let's not get twisted. No one's friends. It's still all business. But as long as everyone gets paid, then... But wait, this is on Sky Sports, The Zone, and I'm presuming BT Box Office as well.
This on TNT. I think it's
TNT, sorry.
I don't think it's on that one. I think it's
Is
just
it not on TNT?
I think it's just Sky and just. But that was that interesting point to you that Sky we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
But now they've got the ability to get both fights. I think they'll get the world title fight as well. So how big of a recoup is it for Sky to get AJ on their platform? But how many people are going to be interested in subscribing and paying on Sky versus what you get for DAZN?
I think it's different because Sky always had the option of like buying the one-off and then keeping it moving. Whereas I feel like the DAZN package, if you're a sports fan, is better only because you get like a month's worth of different, depending on what type of sports you're into, and if you're into boxing content. So it works out. Listen, man, as long as everyone gets paid, as long as the boxers are making the fights happen. Obviously, we're getting better be first Bivol in June as well, which I'm happy about. So listen, man, it's going to be one hell of a year. So I'm just looking forward to it.
If you really think about it, March to June, stacked. March, obviously, we got AJ. April, we have two marquee fights. One in the States with Haney and Garcia.
Oh yeah.
Phil Taylor. May, obviously, we have Fury, and then kicking off at the start of June, we've got Bivol, Better, BF. So in terms of boxing fan, considering the year we had in 2023, we're going into 2024, and it still looks very solid. We are missing certain fighters. Obviously, when his opponent gets chosen in May as well, we'll see that. But we're missing, I'd say, Terence Crawford and seeing what he does. Probably the Errol Spence. Them two guys are probably what we're missing in terms of
that whole situation is a mess because Charlo's belt's been stripped off him, but Crawford's apparently leaving PBC, and understandably,
who else
from what I understand is like Tim Tszyu is gonna face Furman, and then after that, he's a US free agent basically. So then Tim Tszyu, if he wins, he'll probably fight Crawford. I think Crawford's trying to become the mandatory for Tim Tszyu's belt. So probably I don't know, probably go to the highest bidder. So whether it's PBC, potentially Matchroom, I doubt will be Top Rank.
No.
And then I think that would actually be a good fit if Crawford just takes the fight randomly on Matchroom. If he does what Devin Haney does, where it's just like, listen, one fight deal, you lot host the fight. Yeah, that won't be, especially if he does a hometown one as well. I think that would be a good look. So it'll be, and then Canelo's apparently done a 180 with the whole PB. It's all a mess, but shout out to His Excellency for bringing some order, because we're getting AJ versus Ngannou. So
there's
we'll
one
go
more
from there.
fight I just want to gloss over on the undercard, and that's Zhilei Zhang versus Joseph Parker.
Oh yeah.
At interesting points in their career, you've got Zhilei Zhang, who recovered from the Herkovich fight, which was a fight that a lot of people didn't think he lost, even though going on to beat Joe Joyce. You got Joseph Parker, who, funny enough, is very young compared to the heavyweights that we see, but it just feels like he's been around for a long time.
He's gone through the gauntlet. Listen, one thing about Joe Joyce, that man has gone through the gauntlet. Definitely.
So my point to you is, in this fight, I'd say Zhilei Zhang comes in as the favorite over Parker, but how do you expect this one to go? And like, how important is it for both guys to get a win to then push themselves or continue that ascendancy into we're in that title picture type of thing again?
I think Zhang is the favorite, and understandably, but I think the way that Joseph Parker finds a way to reinvent himself will be interesting, because it wasn't not too long ago that he was getting beat by Joe Joyce, and everyone was looking at Joseph Parker like, where do you go from here? He got a few wins under his wing, and then obviously they put him against Wilder, and I'm sure they put him against Wilder as a reputable name, but someone who they expected Wilder to knock out. And then he put on a performance of a lifetime against Wilder. So with Joseph Parker, you just don't know what you're going to get with him. And then him with Andy Lee, he always finds a way to try and reinvent Joseph Parker in the most positive way. So it'll be interesting to see how can he reinvent him to overcome a man mountain in Zhang. So it'll be interesting to see. I see Zhang as a favorite, but don't expect Joseph Parker to just, lay down and take a beating, because if that guy's showing us anything, he'll reinvent himself and find a way to win. So we'll be interested to see.
Before we wrap up then, I just want to get your prediction on the main fight. What do you expect? Are we going to get decision, potential stoppage?
AJ win, potential stoppage. For me, I just like a lopsided victory, but a spirited loss for Francis Ngannou. I need to see AJ as undisputed champ, so that's what I'm going for. That's my guy. But shout out Francis Ngannou as well. And listen, man, everyone gets paid, so I'm happy about that.
Same. I've leaned on AJ towards a late stoppage, not necessarily a knockout, but just more of a referee stoppage where he's probably punching.
That's respectful. That's respectful. Yeah.
The ref just comes in and says, "Okay, we'll call it a day type of thing."
Yeah.
So I'm leaning towards a late referee's type of stoppage.
Okay, I like that
on Joshua. But before we wrap up, just a quick shout out in terms of this event as well. Like, just to not confuse, it's on a Friday.
Oh yes,
Saturday, because obviously with Ramadan and stuff coming up, just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it can be on Saturday. So
yeah,
make sure everything aligns properly. They've done it on a Friday just to cross all barriers, because you can't imagine that being done in Ramadan, which is, it's smart. It's very smart.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, guys, before we wrap up, quick shout out again to the sponsor, D-Rock Clothing. As we said, head over to their website, type in the promo code iBoxingHub24, get yourself 40% off the entire site. And again, continue to support the channel as well, and we'll continue to bring you weekly content, not just from myself, from the rest of the team as well, bringing you shows daily as well. Until next time, Ray, just a quick final words from yourselves. Any last things you want to say about this event or boxing in general?
Tune in, stay weighed in, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. follow it up. Stay weighed in and iBoxingHub. Share your feedback. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Send a friend to send a friend, and all of that good stuff.
Well, that good. And Ray said it best there, guys. Share everything, all that good stuff. Until next time, guys, stay weighed in.